a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to
We're losing our democracy!
More inflation. What a stupid son of a bitch.
Wake up!
Before we get into that, let's get into this. How's it going, everybody, and welcome to the Liberty Bowl. It is, of course, Live Stream Friday. As we tend to do every Friday here, we come together, talk about the latest in news, politics, culture, and the fall of Western civilization as we know it. Joining me, as always, is my co-host, Liberty Swine. How you doing this week, sir?
Doing damn fine, man. How about yourself?
Doing all right, man. Doing all right. Burning up in that Arizona sun. We gotta, it's the time, Hopefully, if that pole shift happens, man, we'll be sitting pretty in fucking ice and shit.
But so working, you got people. It's hot, You're like, just wait, buddy. It's gonna get about 30 degrees hotter in about 2 weeks, man.
Right. Don't worry, it's coming. It's coming. Yeah. But yeah,
clean heat, boy.
Yeah. It's desert life for you. Everywhere else in the fucking country, you still have people walking around with jackets and shit like that. But whatever. But so yeah, we got quite a bit going on this week. Of course, new tensions rise up across the world with India and Pakistan now joining the fray of what's looking to be World War III at any moment. We also have Antifa. They strike again. They're back, tearing up campuses, disrupting everything, and changing absolutely zero minds in the process. We also have
Antifa activate.
Right. Yep. Form of they, them. Right. We also got race tensions back on the rise. Of course, they've been on the rise. They haven't gone anywhere for a while, but there's a new culprit in town, and her name is Shiloh Hendricks. We're going to be talking about her. Of course, everybody knows who that is right now. It's becoming a household name for this week. I say we got a new pope. There's a new pope in town. Pope Leo the 14th. Has been I don't know, what do they call it? I know it's the conclave. What is it? Elected? Do they still call it elected?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So a new pope has been elected. Of course, we saw the white smoke come up Thursday night. We'll be talking about that. $1,000 and a plane ticket to self-deport. It's apparently going to be saving quite a bit of money. We'll be talking about that in a bit. And what we're going to be starting off with is the Newark Mayor was arrested today, right? For apparently storming a fucking ice facility with a bunch of fucking leftist libtards, man. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about that one, man. What do you think about that?
The typical current paradigm of fighting harder for illegals than they do for Americans. Like you said, the Newark mayor and a couple of other Democrat representatives decided that they were going to storm the Newark ice facility to, do a wellness check because they're being detained illegally. Right? I mean, again, these terms are being passed. They use the words, but they don't know the meaning. They keep saying,
Right.
Illegal detention and deportation. Due process is basically, are you illegal? Yes. Do you have papers? No. Smell you laters. And, they just keep pressing on as, making the public believe as if they deserve some sort of trial, like a criminal charge of an American.
Right.
But anyway, the Newark mayor was arrested, snatched up and handcuffed right there in the crowd, and the leftists started to melt down. And then he was released later, with still being charged, but then started making the media news rounds to say he'd do it again regardless of the charges. That's fighting for America's, right? And or that's what democracy is. And again, a term that they love to use in every fashion that only pertains to themselves, because in true democracy, of course, that's illegitimate, and everyone needs to go to fucking prison. You know what I mean?
Right. Yep. Let's go ahead and check out some of these videos here. I think this might be the
Get off of her! Get off of her! You cannot push it! You cannot do this!
It's peaceful.
You are fascist! This is
Yep. So of course you hear them out there chanting the whole this is fucking peaceful. And you guys are fascists. Like it's the 1984 fucking war is peace, man. Like
Right.
it's
Right.
yeah,
You see, I
complete
mean,
brainwashing.
sitting members of, of the state senate and whatnot, they're, decided that they're going to storm a federal building, regardless of your fucking, the words. That's not peaceful. And it's that, that using the words they don't understand the meaning of, just keep screaming fascist. And it's that checkered fucking present that I was speaking about, sort of a checkered
Right.
present.
Right. Let me see if I can find the video. You said that he was already doing interviews and stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah. He went on like I can't remember if it was CNN or MSNBC though, immediately after release.
Are going to continue on with some breaking news that we are following. Let's take you out right now to.
I don't see it just yet. What's do you know the congressman's name?
It's the mayor of Newark, and no, I mean that's just all the header.
Mayor.
Yeah, he just keeps being referred to as the mayor of Newark. Some random blicks, as far as I'm concerned, man.
Leave for your car.
That's him.
Yeah, right here.
Build this country up, and it's a shame that the IRS is sharing information with ICE. It's a shame that people have died against a giant without legal representation and without the support of anybody.
They denied our people entry yesterday. The health department, code of UCC officials, fire department, they denied them entry yesterday. So we all came today, collectively to make them let us into this place today. They're saying that they have to wait for ICE to give them permission, which is not true. Right, ICE doesn't have to give them permission.
You see right there in the front, the priest standing there. The church is just as much complacent in this invasion as NGOs. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, of course, we had James O'Keefe going undercover out here in Tucson, Arizona, actually, where we hail from. Well, technically, I mean, in the meantime, but out here in Arizona, and of course, the Catholic churches and stuff like that were over there facilitating a lot of the stuff. They're over there, intaking people. They had guards and stuff outside. Like it was quite shameful stuff, especially considering that. I mean, it's been well documented that a lot of young children and stuff like that were being trafficked through here by saying like, oh, they're going to see their parents or a family member or something like that. And a lot of times these non-governmental organizations would facilitate the movement of those said people. I mean, so in essence, just a lot of the stuff like they're just screaming about like, oh, think about the lives lost and stuff like that. Like, do you guys think about the lives lost? Like, smuggling people here, like all the people that died in the back of that semi-truck trailer. Like, do you guys consider stuff like that? All the, freaking rape trees and stuff like that that's scattered throughout the desert. I mean, they don't ever consider stuff like that. It's all just, think about what Trump's doing. Trump is evil. You guys are fascism. And it's just absolute nonsense.
Yeah, I mean, beyond that, it's these people just fight for and talk, speak on everything that's bad for America, everything that's leading towards tensions, whether it be political, race, social, whatever it is. The Democrats are about 95% behind it. And don't get me wrong, obviously the Republicans have complete control right now and aren't doing a fucking thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
But the normal snapshots, sound bites, and one-liners on the inner zones. And they're trying to pass bills to vote from home, and now the current, we're trying to gain your trust back is let's undo the Patriot Act, which is all great, but that has nothing to do with the current situation, man. That's just look over here. And meanwhile, according to Thomas Massey, they were supposed to vote this week to codify a bunch of fucking Trump's EOs, and instead, they're off vacationing, man.
Right. And of course, like I believe it was Rand Paul was pointing out that when it comes to a lot of these Doge cuts, I mean, Doge is really just capable of pointing out like, hey, there's bloat here, there's a bunch of spending here. And it's up to Congress to cut all that fat. It's up to them to actually, vote, pass bills to get all of those, programs removed, to get all of those, the funding, stopped to those, wasteful spending, whatever the fuck they're doing, crazy fucking trans pageants and stuff like that all over the world. And so ultimately, yeah, it's really, they have a lot of stuff that they should be doing right now, but they're really not,
capitulating cowards. I mean, then you got, was it Tom Tillis in the Senate there, comes out and stifles Trump's picks for the attorney over DC. But over January 6th concerns is, you know what I'm saying? It's always the Democrats, or I'm sorry, the Republicans that make sure that the people lose regardless of who they put in power, man. You know what I mean? The Democrats fucking cause issues, and the Republicans stand back with their thumbs in their ass, even when they have the ability to stop it or change it.
Well, it is well documented that January 6th of 2021 was by far, by massive margin, the most deadly and most violent and brutal day that has ever existed on United States soil. By a long shot.
Old salty, man. Deadliest
most
days
deadliest.
Manses.
Yeah. And of course, that's the whole thing. That's the difference with the left, the left, who like to sit there all day and, the right, they're so violent, they're evil, they're white supremacist groups here, the white supremacist groups there. Like, there's probably about 1 million different white supremacist sects within the United States right now. Like, everything's white supremacy with him, and everything is white violence and this and that. But ultimately, the only thing that they really have to point to, January 6th. That's the same thing. Like, in something that took place, 4 years ago, over 4 years ago. That's still the only thing that they got. Meanwhile, we could sit here. Actually, we're going to be talking about 2 separate fucking colleges that just got tore the fuck up by the far left again.
Not to mention when they speak on, like, you guys, school shootings is white people's, dude, regardless of race. It fucking, the last, several have been all trannies and fucking rainbow cock smokers. And so that, that automatically makes them leftists, because no one else fucking, propagates or supports that type of shit but those fucking mutants, man. You know what I mean?
Yep, that's why they're over here idolizing people like Luigi Mangione and stuff like that. It's because they're not against violence. They just think that they should be the ones, in control of the violence, right? And at the same time, they also think that words are violence. They think that thoughts that they disagree with is violence towards them. So yeah, they're really just they're sensitive hypocrites. That's about it.
Absolutely, man. And we'll wait till the Shiloh one. I will comment more on that.
Right. Yeah, definitely a whole lot taking place in America right now in terms of race relations. But actually, in order to watch some more videos and stuff, I'm gonna have to refresh this, because Rumble, gotta love them. Of course, Rumble is actually has been getting attacked all day today. I guess they've been getting fucking DDoS attacks left and right all day. Well, mostly left, but yeah, yes, it's been taking place. So either way, we're going to have to refresh this real quick. I will be right back.
Yep, some absolute shit, man. It's the left has absolutely lost their damn minds. Just complete fucking lunatics.
You're right. See, told you. Wasn't too bad, right? Right, but
shit, but complete lunatics. They just continue to lose their mind. I mean, these fools, like, again, a mayor and sitting representatives just decided to storm a fucking federal building, dude. I mean, they're just lunatics. They fight for illegals, criminals. You know what I mean? Open the border to destroy the joint, steadily stoke fucking race tensions, want to kill kids up to the point of birth. The ones that do get to live, they want to fucking cut their genitals off. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just absolute fucking basket cases screaming at you like they're a victim. I mean, just
Right.
clown.
Over here screaming about the final solution, intifada and stuff like that. That's how we end the violence.
Yeah.
The final solution. Because
We gotta destroy Israel's, you fucking Nazis. What?
Right. Absolute hypocrisy. That's what the left is built on, man. And again, Antifa has struck back. Antifa is they're back in action, and that's warming back up out there, and they're
Never say
back.
Antifa, always trans-tifa, dude. Always.
Right. Well, they're two separate sects, right? They're two. They're both on the spectrum in one way or another, but yeah, they're two separate ones, but they commingle, right? But yeah, so fucking Antifa, Trantifa, all the Tifas, have they're back at it. Summer of Love 2025, here we come. And they're starting over here with what is it, Washington University, and then Columbia University, which of course has been the home to multiple Summer of Love riots back in the past. Plenty free Palestine protests, and yeah, looks like we got some more taking place. The difference this time is some people's got it arrested. The cops are actually I ain't gonna give them too much credit. They're actually arresting people that are being fucking violent and destroying property, but they're being very hesitant about it. They're being a little bit of bitches. But either way, let's go ahead and check out some of this stuff from Columbia University. At least it's better than the last fucking, it's fiery but mostly peaceful.
Fuck you! Fuck you! Back up! Get out of the seat! Back up! Back up! Back up! Get out of the seat! Back up! Back up! Back up! Back up! Back up! Back up!
Yeah, fuck your shoe.
Right.
You're breaking my. What's your name? What's your name? Move! Hey, back up! Back up! Back up!
Wow, that's total fascism right there. You definitely see what they're fighting against. Yeah, absolute fucking retards. That's the best way you could describe it.
I mean, like, we spoke on it before, like, liberal fucking chicks. I mean, obviously, right? Function on feelings and they're easily goaded.
Mm-hmm.
Dudes, they're looking for something, man. I mean, men have been beaten down for years. Everything's toxic. You got to be feminine. You know what I'm saying? And once they find somewhere to, like, aim that rage, they tend to run with it, man. And I'm surely not sticking up for them because the jihadist is obviously antithetical to America. You know how I feel about that. Boot all these cats.
Right.
But the truth's the truth, right? I mean, like the song says, they should be fighting in a fucking war. That's why. And fools feel that, man.
Yep. Of course, like you said, it's all just leftists, which are basically built off of emotions. They're all of their adversity is really more or less perceived. Really, when they talk about privilege, these are the privileged people within this world, and that's why they really it's the feminized mentality that takes grip on the left. And like you're saying, it's all based off of emotions, things like that. And dude, it's biblical, man. Women can never be happy. Doesn't matter, man. You could be in fucking paradise, and all there is just, hey, don't fuck with that tree over there. And guess what that bitch is gonna go do? Like, dude, they cannot be happy. They will never be satisfied, and that's why of course, people have great women and stuff like that. Not to say that generality of all women, but in terms of the feminized mindset, that's really what it is. It's just jealousy, can never be happy. Like, oh, I can't believe that bitch. She's like, can you see what she's wearing? Like, that's really all that it is.
Yeah, and man, some cultures just they don't blend, right? Just not
Right.
meant to mix. We're different people with different values and views on life for a reason, and also geographically born to areas for a reason. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and then on top of that, universities, while a place was supposed to be for free discussion and whatnot, which we know these same people that are losing their minds, you're a fascist, will try to censor you and get you removed anytime they possibly can. But the point is like, not everyone's supposed to be in these universities either. I mean, at the inception of these, it was basically only people that you know elites, and then of course true academics, people born with fucking intelligence and a gift for aptitude in some type of aspect.
Right.
And now you just put a bunch of fucking low IQ cats in there because of the color of their skin to meet DEI quotas, and especially from opposing view places like the Middle East. And this is the repercussions. This is what happens. You know what I mean?
Right. And these are the people that want to sit there and like, hey, whoa, you need to respect me. I went to
Yeah.
university and now I owe $150,000 in debt for the rest of my life, but I'm an intellectual. You need
Yeah.
you need to respect my opinion. Like, you're a fucking idiot. Like,
And,
that's
and of
all that you
course,
are.
yeah, and of course it falls into exactly what the whole whatever they are, who they are, seems to have planned out. It, is lower in the average IQ, right? Easy to control, what have you. And what's a better way than to bring some average 86, 68 to 86 IQ cats from the Middle East and put them in prestigious fucking universities, man. That's definitely going to pay
Right.
off in dividends.
Right. As we see here. Yep, that's what you're sending your kids to school for, guys.
Yeah, and one of the recent
So we
ones
did
that was
actually. I was
one
just
of
going
the
to say we did see them apparently lock the doors and keep everybody inside until they showed a student ID in order to be able to get out of there. So that's some good
that's
stuff
against
too.
the fire codes, but
Right.
it's fucking a lot of these cats, like one of the most recent ones, one of the whatever Ahmed's whatever, man, that was an example that was pulled out of these schools by ICE for being a rabble rouser. The dude was like 34 years old. And again, I'll point out that these are on average lower IQs, but they're usually pretty radicalized because of that
Yeah.
lower IQ. And young people, again, easily goaded, sponges, and looking for purpose, are also easily radicalized. So, I mean, it's a pretty toxic fucking mix, man.
Right. Yep, and that's what it really is, survival of the fittest at this point, man. Ultimately, if the shit ever does hit the fan, all these people are fucked. Like, these people are fucked. Like, even if it's not like a battle or anything like that, even if just the fucking solar flare hits the fucking fan and wipes out all of our technology and shit like that, these people are gonna die. Like, these people don't know how to fucking farm. They proved that during the fucking the Summer of Love riots with their
The chop gardens.
right, the Chaz garden and shit. Yeah, they proved that these people are not fucking survivors in any sense. These people are people that, like we said, are privileged, have way too much fucking time on their hands, living off their fucking mommy and daddy's fucking dollar, and they're like we said, just looking for something to be angry at.
Yeah, or their city dwelling fucking DEI fucking installs, or again they're imported from third
Intellectuals,
world
bro.
country where they shit in the street. You know what I mean?
Right. Because they're intellectuals.
Yeah.
Right. Ain't no fucking intellectual ever made no money in his time. right? If you're an actual intellectual, you're gonna write a book, and then it'll become famous like 100 years after you fucking die. Like that's the way that it goes. Ain't nobody trying to pay your ass for being a free thinker, bro.
Right. No intellectual fucking shits where he eats either. And, I
Right.
just watched a video earlier, man. It's, touching on that is this cat of course it's in India, but this dude's sitting on the bank of a river and he's scooping water and the camera pans over and there's like a septic truck dumping shit upstream, like, right. You know what I mean? Just 20 feet from him. And this, as the water's flowing towards him and this dude's scooping the water and pouring it over himself, washing down and shit.
Bro, that's fucking the blood and sweat of Krishna. Don't you know that?
Right.
Be drinking that, man. Fucking it's from
Absolutely
the
disgusting,
earth.
man.
Right. Those people, yeah, we should imitate them. We should be more like them. Matter of
That's
fact, we should bring more of
perfect,
them over here because they're way smarter than us.
right. The perfect meme. I think I might have mentioned it previously, man. I just saw is the future of America is going to be two Indians arguing over what fucking an American is. You know what I
Right.
mean?
That's
Fuck
what we were
you,
talking
bloody.
about. That's what we were talking about last week on the show with the fucking 7-Eleven employee trying to fucking impeach Donald Trump.
Yeah, I mean, according to Elon and fucking, Vivek, that's exactly what we need, man. Is thousands of more fucking engines, dude.
Right. That's why we need to continue to stoke this American nationalism, in young folks, because that's where the power lies, man. That's where the fucking keys are going to next. So yeah, as long as we just keep the dream alive, keep fucking informing these young people about what the importance of having your own culture, your own society, your own place where your people can commingle together without having to accommodate other outside cultures and stuff like that. And you're just as equal as everybody else. Matter of fact, we need to try and be more like you. Like, no, like we need to just
Right.
continue to push American values to young people. And I'm
Like
hoping
you
that the
changed
problem solves itself.
centuries of fucking goddamn culture to be like me, man. So I fit in, bro.
Right. Yep. Like an absolute ridiculousness, man. And that's the what we've come to in America. Just the whole bleeding heart. Again, we've talked about it many times before. It comes from the affluence that America has had over the last several decades, and a lot of that affluence has been artificial for the most part, as we're seeing as the debt crisis is hitting home finally.
Well, what sucks though is you've seen the repercussions historically. People can see it for themselves, and you see it in real time in Europe right now. And they're
Mhm.
still out here, like you see these fucking boomers out there holding signs, "New Jersey's for immigrants." You know what I mean? Like you fucking morons, man. Like these people enjoyed the best America had to offer. They were here for its fucking zenith thus far, and dude, now they don't want that for their own children and grandchildren. Like, what
No,
the fuck is wrong with you, man?
they
You
they
know what I
want
mean?
people to come fucking pay their Social Security. I mean, that's what they want. They want to make sure that Social Security fountain keeps on a flowing. Right? They ain't
Right.
never had to do a day without. They ain't gonna start now. Yep.
Yeah, and the vast majority of these fools ride off in Lexuses to go home to their $600,000 houses and fucking, you know what I mean? And
Hmm.
it's like, dude, you're making sure your grandkids can never attain what you currently have in your dying fucking years. You know what
Right.
I mean? You fucking piece of shit, man.
Yep. And then they're gonna sit there and like, you just need to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Like back in my day, like back in your
Right.
day, like, you had to work one fucking job and you were able to buy a house, fucking pay for your kids to go to college, and then for your kids to grow up and be fucking commie hippies. And that's
You're
yeah,
like, back in your day, a $20 bill was worth an ounce of silver. Like, are you shitting me? You know
right.
what I mean?
Right. Now back in our day now, fucking a $20 bill can't buy you a fucking roll of toilet paper. Like
$20 bill's the new fucking $1, man.
yeah,
You know?
absolutely insane, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane.
And
And
and they'll continue to push and vote for the same shit. I mean, you
yep.
see, like the proof, even in Canada, where they're boomers right now in this vote, where they just elected a WEF CCP fucking representative. They when they polled people afterwards, the biggest reason behind their voting for the boomers was Trump in Canada. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you people, man?
Yep.
Like, dude, and it's crazy because the generation that raised you, that it's tried to instill some sort of morals and common sense, now have none of their own, man. I mean,
Right.
and you see it just I know here in Arizona, you ride down the fucking main streets in the city, and there's old people riding bikes around the fucking streets like they're cars. Meanwhile, there's grave markers everywhere. Like, dude, didn't you teach me my entire life not to play in the road? And you're out here trying to die on a daily basis? The fuck, man? You know what
Right.
I mean?
Yep. I really think it also is too. A lot of it is like we were talking about, low IQs and uh, uh people that are just emotionally based. It's a bad mix. Same thing with the elderly people. They grew up in what was essentially a high trust society. They grew
Right.
up where they were the first generation to be able to sit around the TV and watch the nightly news. And back then, and back in their day, at least what they took from the news was essentially gospel. That was the absolute truth. Like if it was said on the nightly news, it must be true. And now we're into this age where almost nothing that you see on the news is actually true anymore. They omit facts, they hide facts, they cover up stories. They you name it, they do it. And
And
yeah,
they'll still stick by the news. They'll be like,
right,
that's not real. It's not the news that you just showed me proof of fucking their bullshitting. It's
right,
that's AI or something, man.
yep.
I heard about the old AIs.
Right. Right, but you haven't heard about the fucking propaganda warfare that's been taking place in America
Right.
right now? No,
Like,
that's just a conspiracy. Like,
all our government fucking entities have a history of doing shady shit, and now all of a sudden they act like that can't happen. Like, what the fuck, man? The same generation that runs around still to this day swearing like the government killed the presidents. You know what I mean? That now it's like, no, that's not real. They wouldn't do that.
right,
That's not what Rachel Maddow has said.
right.
What the fuck, man?
The same people that are out here bitching about tax the rich, fucking and the corporations, man. Like they get
Right.
all of their information from corporate media,
Hmm.
all of it. Like that's like I say, that's their main source, and
Yeah, the tax the rich thing's a perfect example, dude. Just recently here on the old inner zones, I commented some shit like that where they're tax the rich basically, and it's like, dude, you realize like the top 2% pay like 70% of all tax revenue paid in, right? You know
right,
what I mean? And it's the old fucking Pikachu meme, crickets.
right, absolutely, man. Uh, but yeah, it's definitely a whole different world that we're living in right now. And ultimately, like I say, there is possibility that we could still turn it around. I mean, of course, there's a lot of those black pillars out there like that do say, and I understand where they're coming from. Like we are way too far gone. There's no pulling out of this. We are past the event horizon. We're beginning the spaghettification process. Like we ain't coming back out of this.
I think we'd be a lot closer if we didn't have circuit judges putting forth nationwide injunctions.
Right.
Really.
Yep. And again, that's that. Like I say, it's another part of the being past the event horizon, because it's not just about like, okay, we see the problem, this is what we need to do. It's about the fact that you're going to have at least when it comes to these government positions or people that have been in power and people that have been part of the bloat and the waste and the fraud for generations. Those people are going to be sitting there fighting against you the entire time. So, I mean, ultimately, it's not even about like, oh, it's, half the country agrees, half the country doesn't agree. This is all taking place upon the higher levels, the elected officials and all those, representatives, all those people. And like I said, those people have been getting kickbacks, insider trading, what have you, for generations. They've been part of all this waste, fraud, abuse, and ultimately you have to convince them to stop. And like I say, that's like probably about a good 80 to 90% of the federal government that you're basically fighting against at this point.
And what's crazy is the most entrenched representatives and elected officials and whatnot that you were speaking on. Just 10 years ago, I mean, obviously the videos were just floating around all over the inner zones, Maysmore and all them, but you know, they were all spouting the exact same shit about having to,
Right.
tariff China and tariff goods from these other countries because they're robbing us, and we got to cut the bloat, waste, and abuse, and fucking everything word for word, man, from Pelosi to Bernie to Schumer to fucking Obama. You know what I mean? Clinton, and Clinton actually did. I mean, what did that dude fire? Like what was it? Like 300 and some thousand employees, 0 injunctions, man. You know what I mean? Just now before we went on, I just ground news just popped up saying another injunction against Trump firing fucking federal employees. You know what I mean? And of course, it's a Clinton appointee judge. Like again, that dude fucking released over 300,000, and she's like, "Well, that's not legal." Like, what the fuck, man?
Didn't the Supreme Court actually just rule that Trump does in fact have the power to fire all these people?
Yeah, I mean, I think the particular one was you said, but yeah, I mean, basically, yeah, he has the power to restructure the executive, and this judge says he does, but he's not doing it the legal way. You know what I mean? Like he needs to go through Congress, and in other words, like just post it up in
Right.
gridlock and let it ride out until Trump leaves office. That way, nothing fucking changes. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, because the kickbacks and the whole structure. I mean, it's not just like the representatives, like you said, and shady characters in the back. It's also your judges, your prosecutors. I mean, you just keep going. And that's the reason that deporting an illegal is denying a Maryland man of his constitutional rights, but putting people in solitary confinement for several years for walking through a fucking public building is totally acceptable and a normal punishment.
It's
You know
to
what I mean?
save democracy, man.
Right. You always, I mean, that's always have to tear down the edifice to save it. That's
Right.
definitely modus operandi for a healthy fucking society, dude. Right?
I'm pretty sure that was written in the Federalist Papers. I'm pretty sure they're all about that. Right? Oh man, absolute ridiculousness. But what are you gonna do? I don't know. I mean, like I say, I do think I see the point. That we are pretty far past the event horizon here in terms of default, as we're seeing, as now the Treasury Secretary is urging Congress and fucking what's his name, Mike Johnson, who to go ahead and raise the debt limit again, because of course that's how our government functions. Is we just need another credit card. This one's maxed out. Like, fuck it, sign up another one. Like, and of course it's not literally the way it goes, but that's essentially what's taking place every time they raise the debt ceiling. That's basically just raising our credit limit artificially and printing out more fucking money. And don't worry, you'll be paying for it eventually. So yeah, Treasury Secretary is urging Congress to go ahead and raise the debt limit again by July. I think they said that the deadline was July. Otherwise, we're gonna default, you guys.
I almost want to say fuck it, default, man. I mean, dude, you know what I'm saying? I mean, what's anyone gonna do? Like,
yep.
And then they're like, well, the rest of the fucking world's not gonna want to what? You know what I mean? Like we protect them. I mean, the vast majority of the entire West is safe because of us. They always talk about social programs and yada yada. That's because you've depended on us for fucking military power. You know what I mean? Our own debt, as you see how much we've caved to other countries with trade deals and just handing out money like it ain't nothing for gay pageants and even to feed people in other countries, whatever the case. I mean, that's probably half the damn national debt right there,
Yep.
And the same people that are screaming about this, though, and while I agree with you, that's just devaluing the dollar, so on and so on. The same people that are screaming about this from their pulpit has reigned over massive increases in debt. Like I mentioned before, old Schumer took office in 81. The national debt was $900 billion. You know what I'm saying? And he's out here like, we got to stop Trump. He's blowing out the economies. Is like, dude, seriously.
Fucking these people are insane, man. Like I said, it's just absolute corruption. Absolute despotism. Yeah, these people are fucking raping the country. They've been doing it for generations. Like I say, those are the people that you got to convince to stop. Otherwise, Trump is going to have to go about it the way that he's been going about it. Strong arming people, essentially. Just not taking no for an answer. We just saw that he just did the trade deal with the United Kingdom, and essentially he's like, yeah, the 10% tariffs, they're staying. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to sell stuff to you now. They're like, pretty much, all right, we get everything that we want, and you still get to pay us for it. Have a good day.
Yeah, he's telling Carney, like, we don't want them. We don't want Canadian cars. We don't want Canadian steel. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, we currently have like 10 steel plants under construction as we speak. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's letting them know, like, bro,
Yep.
you're only considered a first world country because of us again.
You have
Like,
no cards, okay?
yeah.
You start working with us, you have some cards. You start having some cards to play with, okay?
Yeah, and Carney's like, no, I've spoke to the owners of Canada. I'm sure you did. You know what I mean? That was a slip, right? But he's talking about voters, obviously, and Canada's not for sale. And Trump never said buy it. And number one, and two, his replies never say never, dude. Pretty good.
Right.
He's a comedian to the fucking end, man. And
Yep.
to touch on that, he may gain even more support, right? The main argument against far right cats and libertarians and even leftists using it as a cudgel that he capitulates to Israel. Well, apparently that relationship is soured. He just canceled the trip to meet with Netanyahu, and Hegseth canceled the trip there for the 12th as well. And then, they've cut off a bunch of discussions, retracted, the requirement that Saudi Arabia basically make a peace deal with Israel, for trade purposes. He's done retracted that. And also, he said that, he feels manipulated by Netanyahu, and he's restructured his team to meet with the Palestinian representatives. So, even that now, he's basically telling Israel, fuck you, man. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep. If I can see how good you do when we stop supplying that fucking Iron Dome.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's like, dude, I told you I was going to build Gaza Largo, man. And it's going up with or without you.
Right. Yep. Either get on board or fucking get lost. We're making America great again. Hop in.
Yeah. And like I said, while I don't have, I could give two shits about fucking Israel and Gaza. The point is that was a whole thing. And, if we could sever that right there, that's billions of dollars a year saved, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? This is
Yep.
saving money all over the place. And our allies, I mean, we could get into that. That'll be a whole nother hour show that'll get us fucking cut off at fucking the Jews' tubes. But
Right.
they're not our fucking allies, and the enemies of my enemies are not my fucking friends either, man.
Right. Yep. Ultimately, when it's going to come down to is fucking Congress, man. Congress got to tighten up those purse strings,
Yeah, I mean that they're too busy trying to repeal fucking 25-year-old laws that sure would be great, but in the meantime doesn't mean a fucking thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The
Yep.
Patriot Act, yeah. You want that repealed, you want that completely abolished, right? But at the same time, I mean, the government's been spying on you for 25 years now, man.
Right.
Like, you think that you've done anything that they haven't seen yet, dude? And again, I want it repealed. Fucking dude, it's draconian as shit. But we have way more important things to deal with.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely, man. Fucking ultimately, ain't going to be nobody to spy on if we got fucking if our debt goes past our eyeballs,
Yeah, I mean, well, it's already well past that, but
Right.
that's the thing that's insurmountable. Like I said, you would have to do some things that would be considered true fascism to get rid of that debt, man.
Yep. Well, according to the left, we're doing that. We're on it.
Right.
Speaking of true fascism, so the fascist, the Fuhrer, Donald Trump, is now offering $1,000 in a plane ticket to self-deport. Right. Of course, that also comes with the possibility that you can actually come back again, because if you don't self-deport and we end up having to remove you, you gone. Don't even fucking try to reapply. You ain't coming back. What's your thoughts on the $1,000 plus a plane ticket?
I mean, while it will cost less, because I've heard it costs like 30 grand or something to deport someone, but man, it's almost a ticket as far as like you might get people just coming in, trying to get in just to get that loot. And then you also on the back end, you got people that have been here for a minute that are like, dude, I can make that in a week in cash. Like,
Right.
it may be an incentive to some, because but then I've heard other rumors that people can get up to $5,000 and per person to self-deport.
If you take your family with you.
Yeah, in certain instances, and then that may be a little different if you can get a stack, dude. I mean, I heard the
Right.
cutoff something like 25 racks, but fucking a third world country, $25,000 do you good for a while, man.
Hell
But
yeah.
again, I mean, you know how I feel about it. I'd rather see harsher tactics happening, regardless of the meltdowns and the injunctions. What was it, Madison, that said the courts made its decision? Now let them enforce it. And yeah, I mean, you'll have the same shit you have happening right now, and people could say you're setting a precedent, but of course we know that was already set with the Biden regime, man. And
Yeah.
again, they'll pull the old, well, what's going to happen when it gets turned and used on Americans? I mean, we know again from a Democratic president that they can also kill American citizens, and that's okay. You know what I mean? Nothing's going to happen. No charges, no impeachments, no injunctions, no.
Yeah.
So, yep, the tired hypocritical fucking talking points are well past making any kind of semblance.
Yeah. Well, apparently, Google just agreed to pay Texas. What was it? $1.4 billion to settle claims that they were spying on people.
You see what I mean? There's your Patriot Act right there. They don't even need that anymore.
Right.
They have
Yep.
fucking
Like,
tech
oh, yeah.
giant.
Fuck, dude, we haven't been using that shit for years, man. Like, what the fuck? We have way more means to fucking spy on people now. Dude. We got
Right.
fucking little flies with little microphones on them.
Yeah. Backdoor entries into social media apps and
Right.
private messages and so on and so on. Dude, they don't
Yeah,
need shit.
Yeah,
Google will tell them anything they want to know.
Yep. Yeah, especially at this point because Google's losing a lot of motherfucking money. It's over this artificial intelligence revolution sweeping the nation, sweeping the world, really. But of course, it's only for the rich people. So most of the world. Yeah, man. I forgot what I was talking about.
We're talking about the $1,000 for self-deportation, man.
Right. So ultimately, yes, the best means of action to get these people out of the country effectively and with as little cost to the taxpayer as possible would be to get them to self-deport. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, like you're saying, when it comes to $1,000, I mean, some of them they can make that within a week. Just staying here and just hiding out from ICE. So yeah, I guess it's these immigrants got a lot to think about right now, and I don't think they fully understand what's going on, to be honest with you. But yeah, ultimately, if it works, it works. We probably won't be having to pay out too many, $1,000 payments. But ultimately, like we say, in terms of the cost to go and hunt them down and to lock them up and put them in these holding facilities for X amount of time while they go through their due process and get sent back to their home country, that's going to cost us a lot more than just like, hey, you sign in on this app, here's a plane ticket, text us when you get there. Yeah. So, but at the same time, I mean, it's going to cost a little bit of money, but it's still going to cost less than all these fucking stimulus packages that they were passing, a few years back. So, hey, well, at least it's progress.
Yeah, and I think Trump should press forward with the EOs. As you get injunctions, let it ride out, but in the meantime, sign a new one that side skirts it in some way, some fashion.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
different things that he's done, like even with deportations. When they had an injunction, he deported him through the DOD. Like there's nothing they could do. It was through a totally different government apparatus. They'd have to go through a different court process, dude. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's ways around it, and he's got people on it that need to just keep pumping that shit out. Just keep moving.
Yep.
The shock and awe of the first fucking 60 days or so just needs to be replicated over and over and over and over.
Right. Yep. I can put those courts in gridlock, man.
Yeah, not to mention the incoming, the possibility of an incoming Democrat fucking administration. Weave that web as thick as fucking possible, man. You know what I mean? Make it to where they're going to spend their first 100 days just trying to fucking, unravel.
Yep. Yeah, man, it's definitely a. It's gone beyond chess at this point. I don't know. They're playing fucking Battleship or something. Yeah, fuck, you got to hit. But yeah, man, it's definitely some crazy times that we're living through here in America, at least in terms of American politics.
For me, it'll
Ultimately,
absolutely change things. I mean, about your outlook. I mean, even like when you're growing up, right, and you're seeing the protests like in the '60s and shit like that, and the police, fucking hosing them down and sicking dogs on them, and when you're a young cat, you know what I mean, and you haven't hardened yet, and you're thinking, like a 14-year-old girl or something, like how could they do that? How could you know what I'm saying? And now the shit that's happened over these past years, like I'm all for it, dude. Break out the fucking fire hoses, bro. You know what I mean?
right?
Like, dude, get
Yep.
a grip, get control, man.
Right. Yeah. The line between protest and riot has become so blurred at this point. I mean, ultimately, it's every fucking week is the summer of love. It hasn't stopped. It's just kind of fizzled down a little bit. It's become normalized. We see it every fucking at least every month at a
Yeah.
minimum.
Yeah, and just because they're not doing it in the street doesn't mean it ain't happening. Like you said, it's happening on college campuses. It's happening fucking outside of specific places that they feel like trying to cancel at the time. I mean, it definitely hasn't stopped. It just like you said, it fizzles a little and then it fucking sparks up, and then something it happens on a scale big enough to where it actually makes fucking news.
Yep. Speaking of stuff making news, let's go ahead and start up on this Shiloh Hendricks, because I was saying things are changing, and one of them is white guilt. Let's go ahead and check out this video real quick. Of course, I'm pretty sure everybody's already seen it. I don't even know if this is the proper one. It might be an edit or something like that. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and see what we got real quick.
It always works because the
Oh,
of
some
course.
song or some shit.
All right. It's always going to be an edit. All right. So this one's been the great anime meme going around. And this has been going around too. So if you don't know, Shiloh Hendricks, she is a mom. She had her kid at the park. Apparently she saw a young black child going through her kid's toy bag and stuff like that. And she called him a nigger. There, I said it.
One of them old niggers.
Right, cancel me, fucking. We'll start a GoFundMe. I need some money. Right. So yeah, everybody's all in an uproar. Oh my goodness, I can't believe you'd say such a thing. And I don't know. There's people making points like, yeah, it's a bit harsh, Like, I mean, you could probably just go up to the kid and again, all we have is from where the recording starts. We don't know what took place before or after or anything. All we have is that one small little segment. So yeah, maybe she did go up and tell the kid like, hey, can you stop digging through the bag? And he did it multiple times, something like that. I don't know. But yeah, there's people out there, making a point, and I'll say it's a fair point that, maybe she could have just been like, hey, get out of my kid's bag, or maybe, take the bag, close it up, something like that. Ultimately, you shouldn't need to do anything like that. You should be able to leave your kid's toy bag, sitting at the park, and not have to worry about somebody going through it. But ultimately, those are kind of the two sides to it. But nonetheless, people are comparing it to the whole Carmelo Anthony thing. Of course, there is a slight difference, I mean, in the fact that Carmelo Anthony murdered a teenage boy, a white male, and she called somebody a nigger. So there's a bit of a difference there, but ultimately that's the story going down right now. And what's your thoughts on the whole Shiloh Hendricks?
Clown world shit, right? I mean, some little blicks come up stealing from her. I mean, that's absolutely happens on a minute to minute basis. And she's obviously sick of the shit around her, man, and voiced her opinion. And then you got some goon, of course, that runs up with some kind of you know I can't even recall at this point. The guy that filmed it ended up being some kind of fucking criminal as well. But of course, and that's just some fool trying to start drama. And immediately he goes into threatening her. You know what I mean? Like, say it right now. And of course, she said it, but I believe she put the A on it, but walked off. and immediate cancel death threats. And now what's even funnier is losers that have absolutely nothing to do with their time are protesting outside of the city hall there, trying to get them to charge her. Like, charge her with what?
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? And you always hear about white fragility and shit. The blacks are the most fragile fucks on the planet. Everything is offensive and everything's worth fighting or killing someone over. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? I mean, like a simple word will send people off to the point to where, I mean, on Piers, they were talking about
I'm
the
gonna
situation with one of the chicks from the war room. And of course, the black dude melts down like, I'm the only black guy that's here. I mean, just absolute candy ass fucking chicks. The black fatigue shit is real, man. Like, you first heard that, I think it was coined by Mark Dice, as a matter of fact. But you kind of just laughed it off, like that's pretty funny. But it's an absolute truth at this point. Like, I don't know about anyone else, you or people watching, but I'm so sick of hearing these grown ass men and shit crying about the way someone else thinks or fucking feels. You know what I mean?
right. Yep.
Like, I
Here's
always
that
say, who
that
gives a shit if someone's racist, bro? It's none of your business what someone else thinks of you. How about that, little pudding?
right. Yep. Freaking to each their own. Most of the time you ain't even gonna have to worry about the person because you're probably never gonna see them again. Right. Yeah. Words can't hurt you guys.
It's worth going to
Unless
prison over, though.
right. But yeah, unless you're this guy right here.
And I don't want to live in a country where you can say an inappropriate, rude thing, which, by the way, black people can say things to white people all the time and they never get canceled. There's no backlashing about this. I want to live in a country where people are allowed to say what they want unashamedly. And you will
Well, go
not
on then,
have
say
free-
it. Say
you
the
will
M.
not have
Go on,
free
say
speech.
go on. Say the M word. Go on.
I'm not
Hang on.
Don't invite. No.
No.
I don't want you to invite this woman to say a racially harmful term in front of me because I'm the only on here. So if she
A
says it,
racial,
I'm the
hurtful
victim of it.
term.
So please don't invite her
Right.
to call me the N-word, because that's basically what it's going to be. There's a bunch of white people up here. You and one Uncle Tom on the left here, and to ask her to say the N-word while I'm here is ridiculous. You would not sit here with a Jewish person and say, please use a Jewish slur in front of this Jewish. It's ridiculous. I understand you don't have any bad intent, Piers. I understand what you're trying to do, but we already know she's
Mark,
racist, and I don't want to invite a racial harm to me.
I hear you.
Yep. Yep. Fucking absolute fucking pudding cups, man. Fucking
Right.
sensitive as can be, right? Because of course this is going to be violence towards me. You directing violence towards me. You're not allowed to direct her violence towards me. Man, dude, it's just a fucking word, man. Get over yourself. Of
Right,
course,
what
this
kind of grown man fucking equates violence to words, bro? You fucking pussy, man.
right. And of course, this was his face that he made when she said that, oh, black people say things about white people all the time. He's like, what? I have never in my life heard any black person ever say anything mean against you cracker ass honky white people.
Right.
Like,
Because black people can't be
he's
racist.
so
Anything
shocked.
they say is just freedom of speech, man. You can't be racist if you don't have the powers.
Right. Yep. Absolutely. And of course, as they say, racism, man, that's white people thing. You can't use their own weapons against them. But yeah, it really is true though. I mean, there's a very, very, very obvious double standard here within the United States. And of course, that all stems from the whole yeah, obviously the slavery and stuff like that, which has taken place all over the entire world. Still to this very day takes place. But nonetheless, we overlook that because it's only taken place in America if you're a leftist, and that's your worldview and your mindset on that situation. So of course, that's the whole white guilt thing that's been really kind of taking place since the whole civil rights era and stuff like that. It started out slow. It's really, really kind of built up steam. And of course it's that whole fucking era. It didn't just change relations between race. That the whole era was also the time that black people became far more fucking ignorant than they ever been throughout fucking history. That was when basically the black person became the American black person, because of course they used to have tight-knit families, they used to have communities, they used to have moral values and foundations. Not no more. And I mean, not no more. Now their fucking moral value and foundation is fucking knock up as many bitches as you can and then run for your fucking life. You know, they really have they have no moral foundation. They have no fathers in their fucking homes. Of course, you know, again, not making a generalization that all of them do. I'm sure there's plenty of, you know, black fathers out there that are good people, and, you know, hats off to you. I hope you raise your kids right. But nonetheless, the majority at large of the black community, I mean, that's the way that they've developed over the past several decades since the civil rights era.
Yeah, and they're even a detriment to themselves as far as like they beat other cats down. Like he immediately went to a racial tinge with the dude on his left who's also black, but
Right.
he's from from Somalia and has a different point of view than him. So, you know, he's an Uncle Tom and his opinion doesn't matter. You know what I mean? I mean, it just they're just complete fucking meltdown hypocrite candy asses, man. And even the ones that run around like they're tough and they're gangster, they're the exact same way. Like I said, man, everything is offensive enough to kill over and go to prison over, man.
Yep. Yep. And of course that also does sway you know, the juries and things like that too. You know, if you call a black man the N-word and he pulls a gun out and kills you, yeah, there's you poor thing. I can't believe that those words were said to you. You're so justified. Like it's absolutely you know, ridiculous. It's that's also what has led to the destruction of the black community at large too, is the fact that they're never held accountable for any of the things that they do anymore, because of course it's not your fault. You're a product of racism and slavery in the United States that took place, you know, generations and generations ago within your family, but nonetheless you still suffer the effects of that. And it really is, you know, who is the actual fucking racist within America? Is it the people that try to say like, oh, you know, fuck it, dude, like why are you living on welfare and stuff like that? Go, you know, get a job. You're a regular fucking person. All of us could go work. Is it those people, or is it the people saying, oh no, you've been oppressed and your family lineage has left you with fragility and scars that need to be tended to, and only can be tended to by the white community, and so don't worry, we're going to take care of you, and you know, you're going to be coddled, and we're going to make sure that, you know, we could lower, you know, standards so that way you could get in. You don't have to worry about it. Even if you don't meet those lower standards, we're still going to get you in because we need some DEI quotas and stuff like that. It's the people that focus 100% of their entire worldview based off of people's skin color.
Absolutely, man. And of course, you know, the people that see racism and everything are usually the most racist. You know
Right.
what I mean? Then they hold themselves down with the lowered expectations. You know, I mean, you see, it's almost all, well, not almost always, a big percentage of the time, it's these black representatives and talking heads that, you know, like a voter IDs, racisms because blacks don't have IDs. Like, are you shitting me? Meanwhile, the real ID law is, you know, kicked into effect, and you beyond that, we know you can't do shit in this country without having a fucking ID. And you know, and then it's just been you know, self-destruction as far as portraying themselves as thugs and gangsters for fucking decades. And then, you know, when you're treated as such, it's racisms. You know what I mean? And then to keep applying the victim mentality to yourself over something that has never happened to you is beyond redundant and fucking just stupid, man. And
Right.
you know, then if you know, even their voting habits, you know, they almost, you know, almost lockstep fucking vote Democrat, even as they'll like protest Democrats, like in Chicago with you know, the mayor there and whatnot. But yet that's the party that was the party of KKK segregation, the party that started the Civil War, that fired on fucking Fort Sumter to keep their slaves, and fucking so on and so on. I mean,
Right.
you could just keep going. And I mean, dude, too much.
Right. And it's funny too, because, you know, at the same time, they're also the people that'll sit there and fucking like whenever you're like, oh, don't worry, we need to pass a new bill so that way we could get all these criminals off the streets. You're like, that's racism. You just hate black people. Like,
Yeah, that's going to
nobody said anything about
disproportionately
black.
affect black people.
Right? Are you saying that you think all black people are criminals? Like, is that the connection that you're trying to make here? Like, no, fucking criminals, people that commit crimes. We need to get them off the streets and put them in jail. You just want to put black people in jail, like absolute fucking ridiculousness.
Strange mentality, man. I mean, rob and steal from a store to the point that it closes down and leaves, and now you're the victim. You live in a food desert because racism's and shit. I mean, it's just fuck, man, insane. Like
You're
you
right.
don't like. I just can't grasp on where they would actually see logic in that thought process.
Yep. Yep. Man, I don't think they have logic, man. Like we said, they're just simply emotional thinkers,
I
whatever
mean, they don't have
direction
logic what we consider it, but obviously somewhere in their own minds they've came to what they consider to be a logical conclusion. You know what I'm saying?
I don't
Hence
think
the
they
reason
have,
that they'll
man.
give you an explanation. You know what I
Right.
mean? You can't give someone an
But their
explanation if you haven't arrived at a conclusion yourself.
but
You
their
know what I mean?
explanation is just the same retired talking points that the left just repeat over and over again, like it's a script, I don't think they actually have any actual rational thoughts. I don't think they actually rationalize any of the stuff that they do. All that they have is slogans and catchphrases and stuff that they read on picket signs.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, but I mean, again, you see them like they'll come and try to protest, like different shit. Like the mayor in Chicago, who they put in place and will probably vote for again, right? But
Definitely no.
so right, I mean, they it's obvious that the thoughts are there. It's just the way that they arrive at the end is you're just like, whoa, like how the fuck did you come to that from this? Like 2 and 2 is not 5, my friend.
Right. Fucking Trump is deporting a lot of these, people that, we go to school with and stuff like that. We need to kill the Jews. Like, whoa. Like, how the fuck did this happen? Right. Yeah. I guess, they have some sort of a logic and rationale, but ultimately, man, I think they're just hive mind creatures. I think
For
that
sure, and people like
whatever
to
the
say like,
pheromones in the air is saying at the time.
right, and people say like you're showing your age, but like if there's an example, it's definitely the Borg, man. Old Star Trek Next Generation action there, bro. Like I mean, it's like they move in lockstep. They're not allowed to have independent thought, dude. They have one processor that puts out the thought of the day for the entire crew, and you know what I mean. They run with it from one thing to the next to destroy and drain of all resources, man.
Yep. Yep, that's exactly what they got going on here, man.
Right.
Does life imitate art, or does art imitate life?
Yeah, it's insane the speed, right? I mean, they try to keep up with Trump. I mean, they can't because they have to latch for a minute to make a scene. But the shit that they go to, I mean, from one thing to the next. Let's fight for illegals. Let's fight for child genital mutilation. Let's change the fucking official flag of a city against the state constitution so we can say we're fucking gay compliant. You know what I'm saying? Just
Right.
I mean, just from one thing to the next to the next. It's just like Jesus, man. You fucking insane people.
Yep. So JD Vance actually already said it, but I had an idea earlier this week, and then he ended up saying it like 2 fucking days later. You son of a bitch. But no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, ultimately I did have the thought because I was watching some Charlie Kirk videos, and they're like, well, who's the leader on the left? Like, Donald Trump's obviously, your guys' fascist leader and stuff like that. That's why you guys follow him and stuff like that. And then he was trying to like, oh, who are we following on the left? Whose direction are we, whose footsteps are we trying to walk in, or whose ideology are we trying to mimic and stuff like that? And ultimately, their true north is the opposite of Trump. Trump is their leader. Just whatever Trump doesn't want, that's what we want. That's what we believe in. Whatever Trump believes in, we believe the opposite, no matter what. Like Donald Trump could say that, like fucking cancer is bad and we need to fucking cure it or something like that. And they're going to be right out there like, no, you can't touch our cancer. Like they'll find some reason. They'll be out there like, you're destroying the medical industry. Like, how are we going to come up with new technologies? Like so many scientists and engineers are going to be out of money now that you're curing cancer, you son of a bitch. Like that's really their true north is the opposite of Donald Trump. That's it. Yeah, he's
to the extreme, to the point, to like you said. I mean, they're like, why are you trying to take fluoride out of the water? You know what I mean? Like, you're the reason, man.
Exactly, man. Yeah, these people are absolutely insane. And that's why they'll turn on their own morals and values, like that, because of Donald Trump. It's Trump derangement syndrome. Like you were pointing out earlier, I mean, there's tons and tons of videos of these Democrats, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and the things that they were talking about. And it's basically all the stuff that Trump's talking about today. It's just they completely turn their backs on all of that because, well, Donald Trump said he's for that. So therefore, we need to be against that.
Yeah, and then they even like they'll use it on Trump. Like Trump's flip flop. Like Trump's been saying the same shit the whole time too. The same thing. You can watch 30 fucking year old videos of him saying the same shit about China robbing us, about
Right.
bloat and waste in the government, about I
About
mean the whole
tariffs,
spill.
all that.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, it's just they've lost their fucking minds. Their true north is the opposite of Donald Trump. Donald Trump says that fucking, I don't know, we like the daytime. Well, they must like the nighttime then. Like that's why they have no leader. That's why they have nobody that is able to actually articulate their point, because they have no point. Their point is literally, we're opposed to Donald Trump. That's it.
For sure, man.
Yep. There's a fucking mindless swarm of rabid leftists. That's all.
What's sad is it's shaping up like it's going to be the real leaders are going to be a 90-year-old Bernie and fucking AOC, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't think Bernie's going to run. I think he's too old.
Yeah.
But he's obviously building up AOC to do so.
Yep.
And I believe that if that were the case, he's going to be Grima Wormtongue the whole time, man.
Right. Yep. Absolutely, man. Yeah. So ultimately, if that's the best they got, though, I mean, I think we should be doing all right. But nonetheless, they still have supporters. They still have voters. We are seeing.
Yeah, I mean, 70-some million people voted for fucking Camel. I mean, Christ,
right.
dog.
Right. That's why I say, man, everything really does kind of hinge on Donald Trump's success in this term. Success within this next year and a half. That's about the time that he's got left to succeed. Otherwise, the midterms are going to completely wipe him out, and after that, he's a lame duck. So
yeah,
really,
if he can turn it up, dude, to where the economy's booming by the time that voting season comes around, he should be golden.
Right, we need to fucking expedite some of those permits on these new factories and stuff that are coming in. We need to focus on, again, bringing manufacturing back to the United States, deporting a lot of these all of these fucking illegal immigrants that are basically taking these jobs that we could be paying Americans. There's a whole bunch of stuff that he's working on that's taking place right now, and we'll just have to. Fingers crossed, man. Hopefully everything works out. As I said a couple episodes ago, man, you can plan a pretty picnic, but you can't predict the weather, Miss Jackson. But yeah, fucking crazy shit, man. While Donald Trump is over there waging peace among the world right now. That's the way I like to put it. He's out there, not waging wars. He's waging peace in the world. Of course, like we were just talking about with Israel, he's like, well, we're going to cut your ass off then. Over there with Russia and Ukraine, making the mineral deals. But all the while, now we have a new conflict. Of course, this has absolutely fucking nothing to do with us. So we better not get involved in this shit in any fucking way, unless, of course, the worst should happen, because of course these two countries are both nuclearly armed. I can't really pronounce that word. My tongue don't work that way. But India and Pakistan, they've pretty much started going at dogfights in the air, all that stuff, man. It started. Again, I don't know the fucking details. It's not my country. I'm not over there. I don't know what's actually taking place. But it seems to have started from a terror attack from Pakistan. Of course, these are really kind of the people that I would expect the fucking Muslims to be attacking, because of course these are the actual polytheists. They obviously fucking Hindu is a very polytheist religion, and of course that seems to be allegedly is their prime enemy is the anybody that does not believe in the one true God. So ultimately, you would expect this to take place, but now it's taken place. What's your thoughts on India and Pakistan?
I mean, it sucks because we're, trying to move a little more trade towards India rather than China. I mean,
Mhm.
we just signed a trade deal with them as far as, investments are concerned. And, you don't want to see it, especially because, basically World War III means the majority of the world at war. I mean, and you have all these countries that are going at it. It seems that it's only ramping up. Like you said, they're nuclear armed. Not large scale, more tactical nukes, but still, I mean, we're talking nuclear fucking weapons. It's not what you want to see or hear. But again, other than the trade factor and the destruction of fucking, environments, and I mean, not that I guess you could do much more damage over there, and the fact that you have the chance of radioactive clouds being trapped in the atmosphere. I mean, just like the Israel Gaza situation, I really couldn't give two shits. I don't have a dog in the fight, but as usual, the culprits. I mean, again, these areas have been at war for centuries, if not millennia. And we go back to what I was saying earlier about easily radicalized, statistically, you know, bell curve, low IQ, fucking specimens that just continue to carry out terror attacks across the fucking planet on a pretty regular basis. And most of it is not reported on here in America because leftist media, and there's places like jihad count, stuff like that, and but you know terror attacks like in Sweden, different places have gone up, just exponentially since letting in refugees from the Middle East. We know the problem. We've seen it here, obviously, and again, it goes back to the old cultures don't necessarily mix, and people are supposed to be different for a reason and located geographically for a reason. Keep it on your side of the fucking planet.
Right. I think fucking Islamists are about to be the only people to have ever taken over nations and stuff like that. Not by marching in as liberators, not by marching in as conquerors, but by marching in as charity cases. You know, that's how we're gonna take over the fucking world, man. We're gonna make everybody feel real bad about us, and then we're just gonna infiltrate their society, and then next thing you know, we're gonna be having their children yelling out, free Palestine, Intifada, this and that.
Allahu Akbar. Yeah,
Right.
and fucking yeah. I mean, there's cities like again like Sweden and Finland and shit where like 80% of everyone below the age of 18 is foreign has
Right.
foreign born parents.
Yep. That's what they're trying to work here, man. That's why fucking we're so against immigration. Like we were talking about earlier. I think what's going to fix that is American nationalism. We need to instill values that reflect what America was founded on, that reflects our way of life, our culture out here. And if you don't assimilate, you need to fucking get gone, man. Like you need to go to fucking wherever the fuck you're from, or if you're from America, go to fucking Canada. Get out of here, man.
Yep, go to Mexico.
All right.
Go to Brazil, whatever, man. Go to some, leftist government that you feel represents you better.
Right. Yep. I don't think they'd want to go to Mexico just because of the fact that, they do actually fucking, they'll put your ass to work, man. You're going to be making fucking bricks in the hot ass sun for the rest of your days. Like, you're going to be doing something over there. I'm pretty sure they'd probably all rush to fucking Canada.
Depends on what you consider quality of life, right? I mean, you could work at a taco stand on the beach and spend your lazy days, man.
Right. Wasting away again in Margaritaville. Yep. Yeah, I don't think any of our fucking, young college liberals are have any hopes of any of that. And they may like, oh yeah, man, I'm gonna go fucking sail a boat around the fucking, around the Baja and stuff like that. It's gonna be great, and it's gonna be my life, bro. I'll live off fishing and stuff. It's gonna be fucking awesome. And fucking within a month, like their boat's been fucking hijacked by the cartel. Like they fucking get no fishes. Fucking you living in a fucking shack somewhere, and you fucking over there picking fucking crops, so that way you can support yourself. Like, yeah, fuck, man, I renounce my American citizenship for this. Like, fuck it, I want to go back with the fucking fascists and racists again. Like, it wasn't that bad, I guess.
Yeah, or you'd be like, what was the big basketball player chick in Russia? The
Right.
big
Fucking
dude.
Brittany Griner.
Yeah, you come back with a whole different appreciation for old Americas, man.
Right.
I mean, she comes back and is all about it at this point. It could be a show, right? But it's not the anti-American retort she was fucking spitting beforehand.
Yep. Yep. So I mean, maybe maybe some of these kids just need that rude awakening, If I can go on now, go run down to the end of the fucking road with your backpack and shit. You'll be back for dinner. Trust me.
Right.
You ain't running away. Yep. That's really what it is. These they're kids that never got discipline in their lives.
Yeah, they weren't told no.
Nope, not once. Yeah,
Yeah.
man, absolutely. It really does give you perspective, especially 'cause like I said, I got young ones right now, and so oh yeah, I'm definitely not. They're getting told no a lot. And fucking, they're raised on no. No, I got good kids though, man. They're growing up good. They're
Yeah.
growing up with some values, doing them right.
Yeah, always good to hear.
Yep. But yeah, man, India and Pakistan, again, has nothing to do with us. Nonetheless, it is another conflict taking place in the world right now. We were hoping to do some trade with India. I don't know. There's a possibility that we could get sucked into this in some fucking way or another. Of course, I do kind of wonder what warfare would look like between two nuclear powered countries without the threat of the United States breathing down their throats.
Yeah, whether they want to go that far or not.
Right. Because
Yeah,
they, for the longest time, if anybody's fucking even thinking about using nukes, don't worry, the United States is going to fucking step in at any moment now. So yeah,
these are small boys though. These are tactical hits. I mean, don't get me
Right.
wrong; it's going to cause some damage. There'll be some serious deaths, man. Especially,
Oh yeah,
pretty compact. You got like 1 billion people in the area, But yeah, it's not anything for us to get involved in, and hopefully, with the current administration, they see it the same way,
right.
and we just watch from afar and see what happens.
Yep. I mean, you hate to see it. War is always bad. Doesn't matter what country it is. War is not a good thing. Doesn't matter if it doesn't involve us or not. People dying in the world, that's not a good thing. But ultimately, really, all that America does, we prolong shit. Look what the fuck's been going on in Ukraine. That could have been done within fucking like 3 days. Putin was saying if the United States wasn't fucking constantly supplying and just giving more money and just making this entire war profitable for both fucking aristocrats within the nation. And yeah, it really all that America does whenever we do get involved with the shit around the world is we just prolong things. Look at fucking at the Middle East right now. We fund both sides. Like we're funding both sides of the fucking war. We're just like, oh, you don't do that. Here, have some money. Like, oh no, you don't do that. Here, have some money. All right, guys, keep going. It's yeah, we really kind of fuck things up when it comes to intervention. So hopefully, I mean, there'd be a good possibility that neither nation would this could be over before either nation even decides to start launching any heavy artillery like that. Yeah,
I guess this dogfight they just had though was like the biggest since World War II. I mean,
right.
They had quite a few planes in the air,
Right.
going at each other. So, man, you'd hope maybe it was just a show of force and do a couple fucking impressive maneuvers and a couple of explosions and now let's talk it out. But knowing the area, probably not.
Right. Yep, it's crazy. They still have pilots. Like, what the fuck is that? You guys don't have unmanned bomber drones? Like, what the fuck?
Right.
You guys still doing dogfights? Like our dogfights take place on a fucking computer screen, 1,000 miles away. Like that's how we operate. Yep, fucking yeah, definitely some crazy stuff, But ultimately, I think that we got to stay out of it. I think that we should just sit back, make sure that nobody starts fucking launching nukes, and I don't think we should pick a dog in the fight.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone's going to win, I mean, obviously you want it to be your trade partner, but
Right.
that's
Which,
neither
of
here
course,
nor there, right?
I think India has a much better chance of winning this thing than Pakistan does.
Well, number wise, obviously,
Right.
it's one of the most populated places on the planet, if not the. I mean, they got well over 1 billion people at this point. That's not something you really want to fuck with, especially in that proximity.
Right. And Pakistan has a pretty, I believe, even amount of both Muslim and Hindus within the country as well, right?
I mean, I know that they have a pretty large aspect, but it's considered a Muslim country, so.
Right. But yeah, I believe that didn't they like actually at one point weren't they part of India at a certain point in history? Yeah. So there's still plenty of Hindus around there. So I mean, ultimately, obviously, the advantage is toward India. So ultimately, that's the best case scenario for us. You guys have a nice day. Good luck. Try not to make it last for several years. We don't want everybody fucking fighting for generations and shit. But
that's all they're gonna do over there, man. That's it.
Right. That's all that they know over there, man. Like, that's why they don't ever get anything done. That's why we haven't gotten shit done, is because that's all that we've been focusing on is fucking war. I remember back in the fucking, I don't remember obviously because I wasn't around, but you look at cartoons and movies and stuff like that back in the day. They're like, 2020 and stuff like that. We're gonna be in flying cars and teleporters and stuff like that. We possibly could have, but we chose to fucking we're just going to be in a whole lot of wars. That's what we're going to be in. Like, we're going to write history books. That's what we want to do. We don't want to fucking, advance our civilization, our culture, anything like that in any sort of way. That'll take place in the background. What we want to focus on is war. That's a lot of money right there.
Yeah, just the trillions we spent in the Middle East could have fixed, the vast majority of the infrastructure in the country and, so many other things. People bitch, especially leftists about programs, especially now with the Doge situation. Those could be fully funded if you didn't already fucking, spend it.
Right. I mean, the whole economic system that we've been running off of ever since we got off, ever since the implementation of income tax, since getting off the gold standard, stuff like that, all of those shitty, bad, not necessarily honest economics that we've been doing ever since then could have gone to a whole lot fucking more than just funding war and fucking, funding murderous technology and stuff like that. If we would have actually used that in a better way that could have bettered our civilization, that could have bettered, all of mankind. You hate to sound like the bleeding heart and stuff like that, but ultimately stuff that could have been beneficial to mankind. Cures for things, cures for cancers, cures for what have you, different technologies, things like that are actually helpful to people, that help people grow, that help nations grow, that help, manufacturing and stuff like that. Dude, all of that fucking debt could be minimal, very, very minimal, if at all, based off of how much that we'd be able to make off of just being at the forefront of advancement of the human race,
Yeah. Instead, we'd rather, genocide out the human race, man.
Right. Nation building. That's what we need. Yep. Fucking absolute ridiculous, man. That's the United States, though.
Democracy.
Right. That's what democracy gets you. Yep. But ready to talk about the new Pope, man?
I suppose, yeah.
All right. So Donald Trump was elected Pope. This let me pull up some pictures real quick, just because the lefty's been having a fucking they had a meltdown over this meme that wasn't created by Donald Trump. It's obviously made by AI, and it was reposted by Donald Trump. And again, the lefties had a meltdown because all of a sudden they're so religious, they're so respectful of the church, they're so respectful of God, Jesus, all that. That they've always loved Jesus and whatnot. We can't have Donald Trump acting like this is absolutely insane. Oh yeah, don't forget about that. Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah. They're just mocking the Last Supper. What was it, like 2 years ago, a year ago, something like that?
2 years ago, I believe. Now,
But
yeah.
yeah, we've always been, all about the papacy, all about the church, what have you. It's again, it's selective outrage, and the whole thing is because their true north is wherever the opposite of Donald Trump is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
In
and
their
it was
minds,
posted
Donald
on
Trump
the
is
White House page. You know what I mean, on X and shit. So that was a major point of the meltdown as well. Like, that's an official page, and like, you know what I mean? Who gives a fuck, man? It's
right.
made in humor, dude. Like,
It's an official picture.
they'd
Thinking about
rather
getting his
see the
tongue up in
doom
the
and
Oval
gloom from
Office.
the previous, dude. You know what I mean?
Right.
Fucking winners of illness and death and stuff.
Right. Yep. These people are absolute fucking hypocrites. They're insane. They're obviously liars, to say the least, and their outrage is selective and therefore meaningless. But all joking aside, the Catholic Church did elect a new pope, Pope Leo the 14th. I forget his real name at the moment, but he is the first ever American pope, hailing from Chicago, Illinois, Chi-Town, Chirac, as some may call it. But yeah, ultimately, like I said, I myself am not a Catholic, but ultimately, I respect all those that believe Jesus to be God, and I hope the best for them. I pray that he's going to be a great pope. I pray that he's going to be a great leader. Some of his posts and retweets and stuff like that over the past year or so, not looking so much like he's very much on the Trump train, to say the least. But nonetheless, he has been a registered Republican and has voted in several primaries over the last few years. So it could be go one way or the other. We'll just have to wait and see. But of course, what's your thoughts on the new pope, man?
Well, like you said, man, word on the street is that while being a registered Republican, I mean, I could give it two shits how he feels about Trump, as a person, but I believe that goes hand in hand with the previous pope and the church's stance on, you got to destroy your country and let everybody in because Jesus. You know what I'm saying? It's always about we got to help the world's poor. Like, dude, we've poured money into these countries, regardless of any kind of war factors or what you're saying. Africa, for instance, billions and billions of dollars we've sent over there. And they'll build like a basketball court or a couple of mud huts, and then where's the fucking money go? You know what I mean? Even
Right.
aid. I mean, like food aid, shit like that. I mean, that goes to the uppers first. Maybe the lower caste will get the crumbs, but ultimately, it's taking money from poor people in a rich country and giving it to rich people in a poor country, man.
Yep.
And so that's how I look at that situation. And if he's of that same mind, I mean, enemy of Western society, as far as I'm concerned, regardless of any religious factors. I
Right.
mean, again, we're being Catholic, what have you. I mean, you got to know this is just a dude like you and me, and everyone is fallible, and he could be wrong. And if that's the case, I mean, I'd rather not absorb that message. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Not to mention, like you said, I'm not Catholic either. So ultimately, this doesn't affect me one way or another. I hope,
Right.
like you said, everything goes well, and he leads his congregation in the right direction. Um, you know, which would be more to more of the roots of the church I'd want to see. I mean, apparently, he's pro-life, and a little bit harder on the edges as far as the Rainbow Coalition goes than the previous pope. So we'll see. Hope for the best, I guess.
Let's see how many Catholics are in the world. 1.406 billion followers worldwide. So ultimately, I mean,
Billion.
it's going to have some sort of an effect. I mean, ultimately, the a lot of the Catholics they're not that great of Catholics. I mean, really, he's probably going to have minimal effect on them as well too. But there's a lot of people are saying that the whole reason that they got an American Pope was for two reasons. One, because from America comes fucking money. Obviously, apparently the Catholic Church has been having some financial issues as of late. Not necessarily with assets, things like that. Like they own a whole lot of stuff. They just don't necessarily have liquid. They don't got that cash. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
so
and lower attendance. I mean, that
right.
hurts the bottom line, man.
Right. And so of course there's the financial need. That's why they need somebody that's from the richest fucking place on the planet, in order to, kind of drum up some more of that excitement from the Americans in order to get them to go fucking pay their tithes and whatnot. And then there's also the, I guess, fear that Donald Trump is becoming such a large political figure. And of course, they can't have that. They got to throw a wrench in that. They got to make sure that they get somebody that's going to be just enough, a leader of the Catholic Church, but at the same time, antithetical to Donald Trump and the MAGA movement, in order to, of course, make sure that America doesn't just fucking end up taking over the world. Because ultimately, I mean, that would be bad too. We don't want a one world fucking government, anything like that. But there's those two possible reasons that people are floating out there as to why they would pick the first ever American Pope now.
Yeah, I mean that plays into it, but definitely, like I said, you got to throw that immigration thing in there because, like you said, the Catholic Church has been leading, destruction of Western society on that front.
Right. Yep, they're definitely. And that's my main, gripe with the Catholic Church. I mean, never mind a lot of their doctrine and theology and stuff like that, but just their structure, the fact that it's an absolute monolith that fucking pyramids with the Pope. I don't think that's a good structure at all. I think that they've taken things a bit too far to where that they've become much more involved in the political side of things rather than the will of God. And I think that, of course, there's been two major schisms that have taken place throughout history within the Catholic Church that proves that has been the direction that they tend to go in over time. And it's really just the fact that they're over here trying to dip their finger in American politics. It's not a fan, to say the least.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of none of the foreign aspects dipping their hands in our political system, man.
Right. And especially just because the amount of influence, like I just read up, 1.4 billion Catholics worldwide. I'm pretty sure many of those are in America. Let me look up in America.
But the most of those are probably Mexico, South America.
Right. Okay. 53 million Catholics in America. Roughly 20% of U.S. adults identify as Catholic, representing approximately 53 million Catholics. The number has been, let's see. So 50, I ain't doing fucking math right now, but 53 million of them are Americans out of 1.4 billion. So yeah, the majority of the Catholic Church is not within America. And ultimately, I'd say Protestantism is really kind of American Orthodox, in a sense, That's really kind of what America is, Constitution, what are the founding fathers, all that. That's really kind of what America was founded on, was basically a Protestant ethics.
Right.
Yeah. So, ultimately them over there trying to, they're the richest country in the world. You should be letting in people. Who is your neighbor? Not people from across the fucking world. I mean, there's an extent. There's an extent. Do you want us to take over the world or not? You can't have it both ways. You can't have us not take over the world, but yet still have us fund and take care of the entire world. It's not how things work. Eventually, we're going to be calling for our money back.
Or Iceland and Canada.
Right. Right.
We're Panama Canal.
Don't forget Greenland, man. We're going for that.
Right.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I hope for the best for him. I hope he's a good pope. I hope that he's a good spiritual leader. I hope that he focuses on the spiritual aspect and not so much the political aspect of of the papacy. And hope for the best for him. But I think Pope Trump would have been pretty good too.
That's hilarious. That's funny shit.
Fucking Pope Trump, man, with his new Trump Bible that he just came out with. What was it? I want to get a hold of one, Joe, just to have one.
I hate how they made a big deal about the previous pope. Like, he gave away all his worldly possessions. Like, isn't that like pretty commonplace
Yeah, I
with
was gonna say,
priests
isn't
that you
that pretty
don't have
standard?
shit? Yeah. At one point, like the shoe was the symbol of the priesthood to denote or to show piety. You know what I mean? That their feet belong on the ground and shit. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
yeah, I mean that's absolutely like it's like patting people on the back for doing the job that they actually chose to get paid to do. It's fucking insane.
right. So he gave away everything that he owns, and now he has nothing. Like, yeah, but then again, I mean, now he's got millions of people that is beck and call,
Yeah, but
ready for
and
his
they're like,
every
well,
whim.
he donated his salary, like, but he was weighted on hand and foot, and you know what I mean. Like,
Right. It's
he
not like
didn't
he went
need that.
without.
Yeah, like once you attain that position, it's like that's it, bro. You're gonna die the Pope, man. Like
Right.
the Pope Benedict before him that stepped down. That's a rarity. Like that
Yeah.
almost never happens.
Yep. So yeah, well, we'll have to see how it goes, man. But actually, let me go ahead and look up some of his old tweets. There, some of the stuff that he's been do. Of course, I'm not going to be able to find it now.
Right.
Oh, but apparently, yeah, he tweeted in support of old Kilmar Obrego Garcia, the AKA the Maryland father.
Of course, that's
Um,
exactly what I'm saying. Plays into the whole fucking, like, it plays on your religious guilt factor.
right,
Especially, with Catholics, that's, their whole spiel is fucking you're a guilty sinner's piece of shit.
right. Yeah, we need to forgive these murdering satanic evil people that chop people up and torture people to death. Like they deserve the right to live in the United States of America. Like the
Dude,
fuck? Get the
these
fuck out of here,
cats,
man.
like earlier we were saying with the college kids on campuses, man, how they're easily radicalized, looking for purpose, shit like that. I mean, dude, if you wanted to bring them back in the right direction, I mean, ultimately, whatever you assume that would be, right? I mean, wouldn't you want to bring back the ethos of what like the Catholic Church, for instance, was? I mean, that was the Knights Templar, shit like that, the warriors of God, the fucking
Right.
sword of Jesus, the fucking, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you know,
Yep. Yeah. And you would think so, but ultimately they've turned their back on the Bible. They follow their traditions now. I'm
right?
pretty sure
It,
the
it's
Bible like
it's
warns against that, doesn't it?
right. Oh, they've turned it into promoting weakness, man, and and conflating that with being generous.
Right. Yep. It's a brave new world we're living in. But yeah, let me see if I can find this dying tweets.
I mean, either way, dude.
Yeah, I'm
Like
not
to
able to
me,
find
if
it.
he's not a fucking communist like the previous pope, you're already in much better condition.
Right. That's his name, Robert Prevost. So this was a something that he retweeted. You can't see it on here because of course it's that's not helping either. But yeah, his last repost took place on April 15th, 2025, and it says, as Trump and Bukele use Oval to laughy face Fed's illicit deportation of a U.S. resident, once an undocked Salvadorian himself, now DC Aux plus Evelio, asks, do you not see the suffering? Is your conscience not disturbed? How can you stay quiet? And again, this is in reference to, murdering vicious MS-13 gang members.
Not to
Yeah,
mention the illicit deportation of a fucking U.S. resident, dude. Like you that just means you're hanging out, man. You're not supposed to be here, bud. And he already had deportation orders. It just he wasn't supposed to go back to El Salvador. But again, it plays into what we were, talking. I mean, this is they're all about destroy your country and culture, fucking because Jesus.
Right. Yeah,
Not to
here's
mention,
another repost.
what like 80 million people voted for this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just the Trump administration. It's dude, tens of millions of people, man, and the
Right.
vast majority of which don't believe that it's gone far enough at this point.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It's the will of the people. But here's another retweet that he posted. We continue to pray for Mr. George Floyd and his family. In his honor, as we prepare for Pentecost, we ask the Holy Spirit to unite us and heal our wounds. May all hatred, violence, and prejudice be eradicated so that we may live in harmony in the peace of our Lord Jesus. So, of course, the second part I agree with. The first part, the Mr. George Floyd and his family. Again, I don't know when this was posted, but yeah, I do remember that when the whole George Floyd video first came out, there was a lot of people that only saw the video. There was a lot of people out there that were like, "Whoa, that looks bad." And of course, as time goes on, or as time went on, we discovered the truth that he died from a fucking overdose because he was chewing on a speedball while trying to pass off fake dollar bills at the gas station
with the heart tumor.
Right. Yep. And so yeah, again, doesn't. I'm sure there was a lot of people when the video first came out that were praying for, George Floyd and his family and whatnot. And of course, it's because of the whole propagandization of the video and how they cut it off, right when they needed to. They only showed you, selective parts. And then once the whole, badge cam and everything fully came out, and that's when things started to change sentiment wise around the world. So yeah, you don't want to give him full fault for that, but nonetheless, the dude fucking reposted a tweet in honor of George Floyd.
I'm sure that was around the time it happened, right? And you
Right.
understand, like praying for the family of if that's your gig, that just lost a loved one, whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? But like was pointed out earlier about jumping into the political aspect, and that's what this was turned into. Regardless of how it began, it quickly turned into a whole political thing, and you don't want the church involved in that. And I'm not trying to quote the old separation of church and state, because I don't believe that that's really what that means. But you really want that. I mean, you
Right.
like church is an escape. It's supposed to be, salve for the soul and, to, guide you to what's supposed to be, a better moral, a solid foundation life, and
Mhm.
that's not it. Don't
I
don't
mean,
don't get involved in that shit.
separation of church and state and stuff, it's fine, but its actual intent was to prevent this. Like it was to
Yeah.
prevent. It wasn't to keep to keep the state from having to abide by some sort of moral code that was given to us through the church. It was to protect the church from being entwined and
Right.
involved within politics, because politics is evil.
Mhm.
Politics is it's a fool's game, and it's a never ending. It's constant, and it's fully of this world. Of course, God does have providence. He does, guide everything within this world, but nonetheless, the whole political aspect of it. Yeah, you could insert your Christian morals and whatnot into it, but nonetheless, it is an earthly, it's a human, I guess, obsession. It's a human endeavor,
Yeah, I mean, it's a vie for power, is what it is.
Right.
Regardless of what political side of the spectrum you're on, it's a vie for power. You know what I mean? And if you're religious, there's only supposed to be one power that
Right.
you answer to, that has control over, that you have ultimate respect and loyalty to.
Yep, and that's another one of my arguments with the church is there's supposed to be that one power, and the church thinks that it's them. Right.
Yeah. Or even again, like Catholics, I mean, they do believe it's them, the church, like you said. But I mean, ultimately, if you went by the what's supposed to be the word, I mean, it tells you what, don't pray to false idols, and the vast majority of the praying you do in a Catholic church is not to God or Jesus.
Right. Yep. Yeah. It's a yeah whole another rabbit hole, man.
Right.
All right. But yeah, it's actually I think that's all we got. Fuck it, let's go down that rabbit hole, man. Right. But now, again, like I said, if you're a believer of Jesus, then you're a brother. It doesn't matter what denomination, what you're from. What your like I say, where your foundation is. As long as your foundation is Jesus, then you're on the right path. Just like I said, when it comes to the church, the Catholic Church in particular, they insert themselves far too deep into politics these days, and it's not going well for them.
Dude, totally off subject, but on subject, and kind of comical, but also the question, right? How memes or change the culture and have you thinking or whatever if they're done right. And one I saw was right around Easter, and it's Jesus talking to a guy when he comes back, and he says, "What part of my story would make you think that I would want to see fucking crosses everywhere when I came back?"
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I mean, think about that, dude. You know what I'm saying? And I understand the semblance, right? I mean,
Mhm.
it's the reminder that he died for your sins or what have you, right? That you're supposed to keep with you. But that same aspect, like you want to, you think about your own loved ones. Even you don't want to remember them in their death pose.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. I guess the argument that the Catholics like to use, and I do kind of understand it when it comes to the cross itself, as looking up to it as a form of an idol, is it's supposed to be like the same sort of like the bronze serpent that the Israelites would look to, and they were wandering through the desert, and they'd get bit by snakes, and they'd look to the bronze serpent, and it would give them healing, which is basically still the same symbol that we use for the medical field. That the two snakes coiling up
Right.
the staff. But of course, what the Israelites, they began worshiping the bronze serpent, and ultimately it needed to be destroyed. And so that's basically what the cross is supposed to represent. It's the cross, we're supposed to look to it, and it's supposed to offer us healing. But the Catholics, again, they take things to a bit of an extreme level. The same thing with the Eucharist. It's giving thanks in remembrance of Jesus Christ. And they'll tell you that it's the actual physical, literal blood and flesh of Jesus Christ, that once you eat it,
It's fucking
it's
grape juice, man.
transfigured within your right. But it was grape juice, but now it's been transfigured within your body, and now it is literally Christ's blood and flesh within you. Yeah, they take things a bit too far. I mean, some sort of I guess some metaphors are missed on them. They take things a bit literal at points.
Yeah, deep fucking roots though, and at one point was a true edifice of fucking power, man. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
And then not to mention again, some of the fiercest warriors throughout recorded history, I mean, stem from the church,
Davy's
man.
fault.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and so I mean, they have that history, but it seems that they don't want to relish it. They don't, you know what I mean? And that
Right.
it's like I said, to me, that's things that would attract young men, man.
Yep. That's why that's one good thing that I'm glad that my church does is we have a men's group that we do every third Monday out here, and it's a whole bunch of different churches, not just my church. It's like at least like 5, 6, 7 different churches show up with the people representing them. But it's basically just it's all men. We come together, we sing liturgy, we give our confessions, through catechism, things like that. It's basically it's all liturgy. It's all just the set, like we believe so and so, but it really does, it brings the I guess the what is manly, I guess, about Christianity, and it's how it's not purely just a pacifist religion, things like that. But yeah, that's one good thing I'm glad about is at least the church that I'm going to and stuff, and like I say, several of the other churches around town are they're working to bring that manliness and also just the Christian brotherhood back together. Not over here like, oh, you're Baptist, oh yeah, well you're a Lutheran, like, oh well, you're this, like you're Methodist, like, and it doesn't matter, like I say, as long as you're a follower of Christ, you're a brother.
Kumbaya, my lord.
Yeah. And then afterward, we all go to the bar and we all have a beer and we all kick back. And,
Right.
yeah.
Go home and masturbate and fucking have premarital sex and
Right. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's good stuff, man. Like I say, hope for the best for them, but we'll have to see how it ends up going, how it ends up shaping our society, shaping the young men's outlook on the world.
yeah. We'll see.
All right, man. Anything you want to throw in, want to discuss, anything like that before we roll up out of here?
Absolutely not, man. I'm exhausted. Been a long
All
day.
right.
Like you said, it was hot as shit, and I'm half asleep on my feet, man. I appreciate everyone coming by, dude. We'll see you next week. Fuck, dude. Check out the shorts all over the inner zones.
All right, man. We appreciate you guys stopping by. Don't forget to like this video, share this video out with your friends. Let us know what you guys think in the comment section. If you're not already subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Follow us on social media. Links are in the description below. We appreciate you. Like, subscribe, share, and as always, fuck off.